welcome to another episode of ESG Clarity's Green Dream series. I'm Deputy Editor Natasha Turner, and today I'm joined by Helen Steers, Partner in Pantheon's European Investment Team and Senior Manager at Pantheon International. Thanks for speaking with us today, Helen.
Thanks for inviting me. It's great to be with you here today.
Great. So let's start then with what ESG means for your business.
So ESG is absolutely fundamental to Pantheon and of course to all of our clients and to the managers that we work with. We were one of the earliest signatories to the UNPRI and have been very involved, very active on bodies such as the UNPRI Steering Committee and have consistently scored very highly with the UNPRI, and in fact in 2020 had an A+ score in the UNPRI scoring system.
Great. And with things like the UNPRI scoring system and more kind of measurements or things that can help groups improve on ESG, you've spoken before about the challenges of obtaining uniform ESG manager assessments from managers that might differ in size or ESG resources and things like that. How do you address those, and where are we in the journey to more uniform assessment, disclosure and reporting?
So Natasha, that's an absolutely great question, and it's true that it's a challenge, I think, for the whole industry, given the breadth and the depth of the industry and the fact that you've got managers of very different sizes with very different levels of resources. And I don't think it's really fair actually to expect a small venture capital manager with maybe a handful of partners and no dedicated resources to be able to respond in the same way as a very large buyout manager that might have a dedicated team and lots of resources to be able to dedicate to ESG. But I think every manager can put in place a comprehensive ESG policy that reflects their own philosophy and can also put in place diversity and inclusion policies. And then really those sorts of managers, the smaller managers, ought to be able to interface with major investors such as ourselves that can give them advice and be a sounding board. So we actually spend quite a lot of time in the due diligence process with some of the smaller managers, almost sort of coaching them and being a sounding board on diversity and inclusion and actually on ESG.
That's interesting. So would you say you're seeing more collaboration, more working together?
Yes, I think so, because I think the entire industry really believes that ESG is absolutely essential in order to create value in the future. It's seen as a value creation tool nowadays. And I think that actually the last few months, the crisis that we've been through with COVID-19 has actually only accelerated that. So yes, we are seeing much more openness, much more collaboration, and I would say much more enthusiasm for ESG in general.
Great. So changing gears a little bit then, tell me about your work at Level 20.
Well, it's a subject that is very close to my heart, Natasha. So I co-founded Level 20 in 2015 with 11 other senior women in the industry. And we really founded it because there was nothing else at that time that was promoting gender diversity. Now, roll the clock on 2021, and now we have an organization with more than 2,500 individual members. We have a full-time staff and executive staff. We have a board and we have an advisory committee. And we're now actually not just present in the UK where we started, but in other countries around Europe and overseas as well. So Level 20 has come a long way, but what hasn't changed is our mission and our objective, which is really to improve gender diversity in the industry. What we would like to get to would be 20% of senior positions held by women. At the moment, it's still in the low single digits. So we've got a way to go there. I think what I ought to say though is coming from Pantheon, I feel like I'm in a really privileged position because Pantheon's always had a very good record on diversity and inclusion. And in fact, quite unusually, we have a very high percentage of women in investment roles and actually in senior roles across the company. 45% of our investment team heads are female, and 40% of the members of our International Investment Committee are female. And that's a pattern which is really replicated through the firm.
Great, those are really encouraging numbers. So just to finish off, we always finish with the same question. What is your favorite sustainable drink or snack?
So I'm afraid I'm going to be really boring here. So I like my Chillies bottle that was given to me by my daughter, and it contains cold tap water, so not terribly exciting, but I go through probably three of those a day. So I'm afraid it's just water, but I guess that is quite sustainable. And in terms of snacks, I love fruit, and I tend to have sort of a selection of, kind of apples and bananas and stuff like that on my desk. So that's what I try and do. I think particularly with working from home, you've got to be quite careful about snacking. So if I keep the fruit, and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Very well done for not giving in to temptation in lockdown. Chocolates and biscuits and the rest.
It is tempting, but once you start down that path, I think you're lost.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Helen.
It's an absolute pleasure, and thanks to you for your questions.